Good afternoon, how are you? Or, I guess in this case, it's probably about evening time. Um, it's a pretty decent temperature out today, but it's a bit humid, so I apologize if I start cascading sweat. So, what's the topic of discussion today? Well, I gotta be honest. I know this is a little over a week now I've been doing this, but I don't really have much on the mind today. So we're kind of just gonna wing it. So I've had something on the mind. I had a big talk about like books, just in general, nothing specific, but covering a broad range of topics, a lot of genres. And I decided maybe that'd be a good thing to talk about. Not books in general, but any form of storytelling medium. And particularly media literacy, and specifically the lack thereof in America. So, what's a good starting point? I'm actually not going to start with a book. I'm going to start with something I feel like a lot of people might be getting a little worn out on, but I'm not, because I'm a super fan. I'm going to start with Star Wars. Specifically the show Andor. I notice, first of all, I think it's one of the best shows ever, not just for Star Wars. It's a phenomenal show, very inspiring and very poignant to the times we live in. But I noticed, some criticisms that this show takes that I think are dumb. Caveman criticisms. For example, a big criticism I see of this show is that there's not enough action. Oh, God forbid. And I hear that and I immediately think, that's a caveman argument. That's, there's not enough boom, boom, bang, bangs. But the show is incredibly well written. It has a fantastic message. There's phenomenal character development. I don't want to go too in depth because this is actually something I don't want to spoil for anyone. If you haven't seen it, if you're a Star Wars fan or not, you need to watch the show. Oh my God, I love that song. Sorry, Rocket Man was playing by Elton John. But the show deals with themes of rebellion, resisting tyranny, loss, specifically loss stemming from sacrifice that is required to fight tyranny. You can understand why I'd be a big fan of this. And I noticed criticisms of it. If your criticism of a show like this is not enough boom boom bang bangs, but yet you liked Game of Thrones, which, no shade to Game of Thrones, but there are extensive stretches of that show where it's very dialogue heavy and not a lot's going on. My question would be then, well then why did you like that show? See, good writing, at least to me, is always entertaining, whether it's in a book, whether it's in a show, a movie, a video game, or music. It is always entertaining if something is well written. I'm wearing one of out of my favorite show right now. Another show that is very well written, and it operates. We'll go to Cowboy Bebop. It operates a lot like an anthology. It's not necessarily one connected story, but media literacy in general, in my opinion, is very missing in America. Now I'll segue to the show The Boys, which I think is a phenomenal show. The final season, I don't think it's as bad as some people have criticized it for. I think they made a landing, they definitely stumbled on the landing for sure, but I think it's okay. It's not a bad ending. It's definitely not the highlight of the show, but it's not as bad as people say. But I noticed in the fourth and the final season, when they were coming out, a big criticism I thought got heard people say is, the boys have gotten so political. oh man, politics has to be in everything. And it makes me curious when people watch shows, what are they doing? Are you just turning your brain off and sitting in front of a screen? Because if you watched The Boys, you would know from season 1, politics were in this fucking show. It was the whole point. Homelander himself is very allegorical, at least in the show's case. Now, I've never read the comics, but in the show's case, Homelander and his entire movement is very allegorical for MAGA and Donald Trump, in the sense that, the whole Teflon Don thing. Homelander, you can't kill him. They don't know how to kill him. He keeps coming back, and no matter what he does, it seems like he just gets more and more powerful. Sound familiar? But this goes over people's heads. And I don't understand. I do understand. I think we can blame all of the entertainment medium, because I've made this criticism of music, that in my opinion, starting in the 80s and getting worse and worse as the decades went by, music lost its soul. Everything is about entertainment. Quick catchiness. Go, 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 go. Get it out there. And in my opinion, most of these pop artists are making the same damn song over and over again. It wasn't quite as bad in the 80s, but the 80s is when I noticed that it starts. And I feel like that commercialization can apply to television, movies. Video games was a little late to that, party, but it's definitely happening to that video games now too. And I feel like most anything nowadays, especially in the movie, show, music area, is entertainment for the sake of entertainment. We've lost, at least a lot of artists have lost, either they've lost the ability or the desire to create art that tries to instill a message in people. The moral of the story, kind of what any good story is trying to convey. And it doesn't seem to me like people are able to really determine a moral of a story, even when something actually does have a moral of a story. Like, what is a good example? I'll give another example. We'll go to video games now. So God of War 4, the one that takes place in the Norse realm, that has Atreus in it, the first of those games. A criticism in that game was how people thought Kratos had become more soft. Duh. Of course he did. The point of this story is that he destroyed Greece in the original trilogy and became a hermit, essentially, when he left to go live in the Norse world. And the whole point of the story is how he's got his son, his wife has died. Him and his son had to go on this journey to take his wife's ashes to the highest peak in all the realms. And the whole point is how he wants to do better than he had done before for his son's sake. And the whole game is the journey of him learning how to do that in real time. It's being better than who you were before. Kratos himself says in the game, we must be better. But I think a lot of entertainment these days is just entertainment for the sake of entertainment. And that's a shame. Someone like me, who really values things that are more well-written, more in-depth. Now, that's not to say that I always have to have that. For example, a video game I love to play is Madden. And boy, do I actually hate Madden, but I'm a football addict. What can I say? There's no story there. There's no in-depth. That is entertainment for entertainment's sake. So it's okay to have these guilty pleasures, but when the majority of things released are this, it's just kind of a shame, And this isn't a big deal. Well, it might be, I don't know what it says about our society. Fucking, what is it, 60% of people can't even read at a 6th grade level. I remember reading that somewhere. I'm not preaching that as fact. I could be wrong, but if that is the case, then of course we don't have media literacy. People don't even have literacy. But I just kind of wanted to talk about this. You know, it's not directly politically related, and I had a long talk about a bunch of books and things that I really enjoy. And I'll go on a tangent to end this, okay? For any of you out there who are into video games, brace yourself, because this is apparently going to be a hot take. So one of my favorite franchises in video games, and in anything, is The Legend of Zelda. I love The Legend of Zelda. I always have, since I was a kid. I have beaten every single Legend of Zelda game. 9 years ago, a Zelda game came out called Breath of the Wild. And I didn't play it back then. Not because I was trying to avoid it, but because I didn't have a Nintendo Switch. I didn't have the money to buy one. And, you know, PS4 was really rocking at the time, so there was no reason to buy one. There were plenty of games coming out. But I did finally, 9 years later, roughly 2-3 weeks ago, played this game for the first time. And I hate it. I hate it. It's not a Zelda game. It's not a Zelda game. It doesn't play anything like any other Zelda game. And the criticism I get back is that, well, they were trying to make change. They were trying to change. Zelda games have always done something different. They've always had change. But they've also remained loyal to the core identity of what makes them a Zelda game. On top of that, this game got super hyped. I think it won Game of the Year. And even if it wasn't a Zelda game, it's a very mid game. It doesn't deserve the accolades it got, in my opinion. And I am very aware that this is a very unpopular opinion. So, today was more of a ranty day, not really too nailed down. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to talk about today. But I am beginning to sweat pretty badly. It is very humid. I think that's really all I've got. So it's a pleasure talking to you all. My name is Keegan, and be safe.